it does seem like, I mean, this is all happening ahead of the Sunday election. How might this play out?
It's very hard to say, I think, at the moment, given it's an upper house election that the LDP were expected to win. As of right now, I can only expect that it would boost support, for the election, which, the LDP were comfortably expected to win in the first place. But it's a little early to say right now.
Absolutely. Apparently, line dropping that he's apparently in heart failure, as we have been mentioning here. But he really did move the dial when he was Prime Minister, longest-serving Prime Minister in recent memory, for the economy. Gerard.
Yeah, I mean, Abe is an absolutely extraordinary figure in recent Japanese politics and post-war Japanese politics. The longest-serving prime minister, as you say. He came back from unsuccessful first term to become the longest-serving prime minister, accomplished a lot of things. People talk about the things that he didn't accomplish, but especially in the early years of Abenomics, accomplished an extraordinary amount in a system where it's very difficult often to get things done at the pace that he did. And we should remember, of course, that Abe is still the leader of the largest faction in the ruling LDP, and many had suspected that one day he could come back and have another go at the premiership.
Garode, unlike the U.S., Japan has strict gun laws, gun policies. How do we make sense of this attack?
There is no way to make sense of it. I think it's completely senseless. It is unprecedented in recent Japanese history, certainly in post-war Japanese history, or at least after the 60s and 70s, when there were various disputes and protests that died down. As you say, Japan is not a gun culture. It is very difficult to get a gun, but some people do have them for hunting and other purposes, such as that. But in terms of how to make sense of it, there is no way to do it. It is senseless.
Garode, okay, we're going to get the reopen in just about a minute for equities there in Tokyo. No fresh news really appearing that really gives shines a bit more light as to who the perpetrator was, apart from we know that one has been arrested, a 40-year-old man, according to reports in Japan. Every politician has an enemy of some form. We don't know if there's a lone gunman or perhaps a more concerted, perhaps, grouping here, but certainly they've sent a message. Tell us a little bit more about how the economy now is doing under Mr. Kishida-san as well.
I mean, the economy is still sort of recovering from the pandemic here. It has not recovered to the lengths that to the state that had been seen in other countries, before the latest, shall we say, cycle of inflation and tightening. There was still a lot of work to do. I think a lot of people expected that once the elections were over, that Kishida would sort of get down to the hard work of implementing policy and moving forward from there. I think it's anyone's guess as to what impact this has.